So upon being put inside the time machine, it was pitch black and pitch silent. I couldn't hear a thing. Eventually, after about 5 minutes of being inside of there, I started to feel lightheaded. And suddenly, there was flashes of bright light that seemed to be inside my own eyelids. I looked around, laying on my back, and I could see nothing, just white light flashing in my eyes every couple seconds. Eventually, I went unconscious. It was sort of like a fading out. My consciousness sort of faded out, and then I woke up. I was lying on a hospital bed. I thought something had gone wrong with the experiment, and I was still in the year 1981. I looked around, and I was alone in my room. I was alone in this room, and there was a window to my left side. After looking at the window, I looked right ahead of me, and in front of me was something that I've never seen before. It was a glass screen. It looked as if it was a piece of glass, hovering a couple of inches in front of the wall. Now, I figured this was inside of some sort of military hospital that they had developed advanced technology the public was not aware of. But as I looked around, I saw some things that were very strange, very different, to say the least. I looked to my left side, and sitting next to the hospital bed was a table. The table was glass, and I could see right through it, and I could see the ground. Now this table, it was simply a tabletop, a glass tabletop floating, and I could see nothing outside supporting it, floating approximately 2 feet off of the ground. And on top of this glass tabletop, there was a couple of cups. One of them appeared as if it was full of water. Now this wasn't any sort of advanced technology that we had in our present year of 1981. Eventually, a nurse walked into the room I was staying in. It was the first person I've seen after this incident. And she began to explain everything to me. She said I was found on the side of the road, unconscious. She thought I had gotten in some sort of car accident or something, and I told her about my story. I told her what had happened, and she asked me. She said, what was the date in which this happened? And I told her it was in the year 1981. And I'll never forget what she said back. She said, sir, it's 2118. And I said, 2118? I thought she was referencing the military time. But she said, sir, don't you know the year? It's 2118. I didn't believe what she was saying at first. I didn't think this actually worked. But given the circumstances that led up to it, I began to accept this. I think she, along with everybody else in that hospital who talked to me, they thought I was crazy. They thought I was making up my story. She said, sir, why don't you watch some TV and get your mind off this? So I saw a remote control, different from any kind of remote control I've seen in 1981. On the side, sitting on that glass table as well. I picked up the remote control, and there was a power button on the top. I hit that button, and the glass that was floating in front of the wall, it turned into a screen. And there was television shows I ain't never heard of playing on that screen. And when I switched to one of the news channels, I read the date. The date read November 17th, 2118. This was hard to believe. It was hard to accept. I thought I was in a dream. And near nobody in the future believed me. I realized I had to get out of this hospital.